Shalom, shalom, shalom. Everyone, welcome once again to Hebrew class number 11. My name is Chief Uzi Alewi, one of the teachers of congregation D.C.B, CHOKMAH, BINAH, and a congregation of non-Messianic Israelites, where our goal is to bring knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to God's people, and to enlighten God's people and all people to a better way of life and wisdom. So as we proceed, we've been going on with the Hebrew classes. Moreh, Yeftahk, and Dahn started back with the Hebrew classes on Thursdays, and he's going to stay consistent with it, and once again bring our people back to the language that our forefathers spoke in. So Moreh Yeftahk, like I always say, is a student of Moreh Mishael ben Yisrael, the premier Hebrew teacher in our community, and Moreh Yeftahk ben Dahn is one of his students. So also just keeping Moreh Mishael in our prayers. Last I heard, he was in the hospital. I don't know if he's gotten out of the hospital. So let's keep Moreh Mishael in our prayers, that the Most High God will bless him to see many, many, many more years, and that the Most High God be with him and his family and protect him. Also, thanking the Most High God for everyone out there who supports us. Feel free to support us on the chat with the super chat button with the $. You could just press it, or you could support us at info@shemaisrael.com. That's our PayPal address, or you could donate to our congregation. All donations are needed and are necessary to keep things moving along. So without any further ado, I'll turn it over to my brother, Moreh Yeftahk ben Dahn. Hallelujah.
Shalom, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
That's a deal. As always, I like to give honor and praise to the Most High God, King of heaven and earth, even the God of our forefathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Yisrael. For without him, we are nothing. Glad that everybody could tune in this day and will continue to learn with us, even in Welcome to Hebrew. Hoping and praying that this day God would look down upon us from heaven, that he might bless me as well as bless you. Bless me to teach you things that which are right and in a way that's understandable, in order that we might attain the language of our forefathers, and that you might be able to be receptive to the words, to retain them in your mind, and even apply them when it's appropriate, in order that we return to the language, even to the Hebrew language. So last week when we spoke, we did talk about conjugating verbs. And in talking about conjugating verbs, we need to begin to understand that in order to understand sentence structure and to eventually become conversational. So within that, we will begin this week as I share my screen. Let me share my desktop. Start my screen share. And so, can you see my screen, Chief? Okay, I'm going to presume that my screen can be seen.
Yeah, I see it. It's clear.
Great.
You might want to make it a little bit bigger.
A little bigger? All right. See how this works. So, do this. If I raise the font to about 16, how about that?
That's much better.
Okay, great. All right. So again, shalom and welcome to Hebrew. And today's lesson continues with the conjugation of the verb. Now, if you was here for last week's lesson, we began with understanding. You must understand that there is a verb and identifying the root and in identifying the root, understanding that now that it's a verb, it needs to be conjugated. And why does it need to be conjugated? Because in the Hebrew language, when we speak, you must identify the object that you're speaking to or about. So when we spoke about that last week, we spoke about if you're speaking to first person singular, first person plural, second person singular, second person plural, third person singular, third person plural, and also whether you're talking to a male or a female, and identifying all of those that you're speaking to. And if you go back to your notes from last week, or you go back to that lesson from last week, you'll see where I identified them. First person singular male, first person singular female. That has to be identified. Then there's third person male, third person female. Happens in a group. I, you, him, her, you all. Did I say us, us, they, or them? And all of those must be identified. And once you identify who you're talking to, then we can begin to conjugate the verb. Now, last week, what we did, we went over the present tense. And when we went over the present tense, we would identify who we're speaking to in the present tense. And so we remember that O-A, O-E-E, O-I, O-Im, O-Ot. Do we remember that? O-I, O-Im, O-E-E. Excuse me. O-A, O-E-E, O-I, O-Im, and O-Ot. So, once again, O-A, O-E-E, O-I, O-Im, O-Ot. This is the pattern. The present tense in the qual stem. We'll talk about that in a little while. O-A, O-E-E, O-I, O-Im, O-Ot. From what you see here, this is the way you are going to add in the vowel sounds so that you can properly conjugate the verb. And one of the verbs we used last week was zakar, which means to remember. I keep forgetting that M, don't I? Zakar means to remember, right? So if I'm remembering, present tense would be ani zokir, right? As a male. And if you're a female, you would say ani zokeret. We seeing how we entered it? The root, the shodesh, the root, shodesh equals root. Shodesh means root. The root of the word zakar is zayin kaf resh. Zayin kaf resh. That's the root. That's the shodesh. Zayin kaf resh is the shodesh. So if we take the shodesh and we include the pattern OA for the present tense, then we would understand how to put it in. So let's make it a little more simplistic. while we're going. These, let's do that one time. Let's do that. For the present tense. Right? And bold it and underline it. These are the present tense. First person. Second person. Oh, excuse me. I put second person. This is actually first and second person, but this is female. First and second person. Singular. Female. First and second person. Singular. Male. And alternate, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So first and second person singular female is this right here. Oh, it worked. I was like, my copy and paste didn't work. First and second person singular female. But you might sit and say, but wait a second, I thought you just told me this is like this. And then over here it's I did. That's exactly how it is. There's more than one way to say the same thing. However, bear in mind, you have to know the rules of the Hebrew language because the is not always present and the is not always present. The only way you will learn if it's present or not is by learning the rules of grammar. There's no sure way to know. You will understand the conjugation of the verb and you will understand whether you can say zokeret or zokra. But you usually will be able, you almost always will be able to say one or the other. But both of these apply to females. This says the same thing twice and you can use it either way. You can say zokeret or zokra and it would be appropriate when speaking to a first or second person female, singular. Now, third person plural. Male is o'im. How do you know if you're speaking to a male or a group of females? No, excuse me, a male or a group with males and females in it. The rule is, as long as there's one male, you address them in this tense. You address them in the male tense. So to say, if you have one male and three females, you must use the third person plural male tense. If you have three females and no males, then you're going to use the third person plural female tense, which is OO. So, I hope y'all got this. I'm erasing the board. Here you have Zoker, Zokeret, Zokrim, Zokro. Is it beginning to make sense to you? Are you beginning to put it together? Well, I tell you what, if you got it already, you probably have some basic Hebrew. This stuff probably will not become totally clear to you until you begin to read Hebrew and you see the word used in a sentence. And we get away from my transliteration and I finally get a Hebrew keyboard, and then you would understand a whole lot better. But until we get to that point, Zoker, Zokeret, Zokrim, Zokrot. We got it? All right, I won't erase the board on that one. I will take these squiggly lines away so it won't confuse you even further. I totally destroyed my dictionary on my computer. Not like I can't clear it out. And then now, we're going to use the following verbs. Saraf, sin, resh, feet. Sin, resh, feet. And pagash, pei, gimel, shin. Pei, gimel, shin. Did you hear the shodesh yet? What does shodesh mean? Shodesh. Do we remember? Root. It's right here in front of you. Shodesh means root. Pagash. What's the next word we're going to use? Malak. Now, we remember Malak, don't we? And Malak, when we was reading that and when we was understanding that, I gave that word to you as a noun. As a noun, it is what? A king. However, now we're using it as a verb. And oftentimes you will see this in Hebrew, where they will take a noun and make it a verb. They'll take a noun and make it an action and use it and conjugate it. So if Malak is a king and we make it an action, what does the king do that makes it an action? Well, kings reign, kings rule. So when you have the verb mem, lamed, kaf, feet, instead of it meaning king, it now means to rule. So you might ask me, well, how do I know if it's a noun or a verb? If you see it being conjugated, you know that it's a verb. If you see it as a standalone word, depending on how it's being used in a sentence, you know it's a noun. You will know. Trust your instincts and your intelligence that you recognize by the way it's being used in a sentence, that you'll be able to figure it out. What's our next word? Chalam. Chalam. Chet, lamed, mem sofit, chalam. Means to dream. Chet, lamed, mem sofit. What's our next word? Rachatz. Once I get back over to this, let's unbold this. Let's get over here. Rachatz. What does rachatz mean? To wash. To wash, to rinse, to get clean. Rachatz. Right? What's our next word? Rakav. Resh, kaf, veit. Rakav. What does rakav mean? To ride. I don't know why I didn't put it down here, but that's what it means. To ride. Rakav. Resh Kaf Veit. Rakav. Shabar, what does shabar mean? Means to break. We see it right down here. I have it on the page. Means to break. Shabar, as in breaking something. Shin Beit Resh. If you had the first lessons, you should. Now is the time for you to be practicing writing in the script. Shabar, Shin Beit Resh. Oh, I didn't cut this thing off. I'll take care of that. And our last word, if I can ever highlight it, is garage. It's like my computer spell checked on me. Garage means what? To drive out. To drive out. Okay? So we have the words Saraf, Shin Reish Fe Sofi, Pagash, Pe Gamel Shin, Malak, Mem Lamed Kaf Sofi, Chalam, Chet Lamed Mem Sofi, Rakat, Reish Chet Sade Sofi, Rakav, Reish Kaf Veit, Shabar, Shin Beit Reish, Garash, Gemel Reish Shin. And Saraf is to burn, Pagash is to meet, Malak is to rule, Chalam is to dream, Rakat is to wash, Rakav is to ride, Shabar is to break, and Garash is to drive out. Force somebody to leave, get out of here. Force a people to leave. So now that we know the definition, how will we conjugate them in the present tense? Let's go back to our chart. Saraf, what's the Shodesh? Sin, Reish, Fe, Sofi. So it would be Soref, Sorefet, Sorfim, Sorfot. Are we with it? Soref, Sorefet, Sorfa, Sorfim, Sorfot. That's the present tense. Pagash would be Ogesh, Ogeshet, Poksha, Pokshin, Pokshot. Get the pattern. O-A, 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 O-Im, O-Ot. Because when you have the pattern, there's not too much guesswork. As long as the Shodesh, as long as the root falls into the pattern of the verbs, you'll always be able to conjugate it. You'll know right off the top of your head. You'll stop and you'll say, I have to identify the Shodesh. I have to identify the root. And once I identify the root, I can just conjugate it. What's our next word? Malak. Malak. Mem, Lamed, Kaf, Sofi. Right? How would we conjugate it? Molek, Moleket, Molka, Molkim, Molkot. Molek, Moleket, Molka, Molkim, Molkot. And so on and so forth. We'll do Chalam and then we'll move on. What is Chalam again? Chet, Lamed, Mem Sofit. So Cholem, Cholemet, Cholmah, Cholmin, Chomot. I am dreaming. Ani Cholem, I'm dreaming. She is dreaming. He Cholemet. He is meeting. He is meeting her at one. Hu pogesh ota le'echad. He's meeting her for one. Did you hear it? Hu pogesh. He is meeting. It actually should be he will meet, but we'll get into that. He is meeting her right now. Let's do that to make it more appropriate. He's meeting her right now. Hu pogesh ota akshal. Hu pogesh ota akshal. He's meeting her right now. They're going to close the deal. Binyan is a building. Binyan. Habinyan soref. The building is burning. Habinyan soref. The building is burning. These are the different things that we have. There's different ways to go about this. We just have to understand what we need to do and how we can conjugate it. Practice conjugating the verbs and practice the way that you want to say it. And then you'll be able to get better at what you do. Now, a couple of things before we get to practice into some reading. So now that we know the definition, how will we conjugate them in the present tense? We just did that. Before we do that, well, we can't say before we do that because we did that. So let's take this out. What's the name of the stem we're using? I told you last week. There's the different stems, correct? And there are seven separate stems. So here we go. You have, let me get my space here. You have the qua, or the call, whatever you want to call it. You have the nifa. You have the PL. You have the pu'al. Oh boy. Does he feel? You have the hufal. You have the heat pile. And the reason why we have these different 7 stems is because it will identify how you are exactly using the verb, the type of tense you want to use it, whether you want to intensify it, or whether you're talking about doing something to somebody or doing something to yourself, and the type of tense it wants to be in, and we'll get into those. But we have to remember that there are 7 stems. 7. Right? There are 7 stems that we are using here. Let's see if we can. No, we can't do that there. Sorry. 7 stems we're using. So that we know, as long as we're in one of the, once we identify the stem that we're in, we can understand how we're using it and how we plan to conjugate it. Right? So within the qual, there is what? Is the past, present, future. Is the passive present sometimes. Let's put a star next to that. Depending on the verb, put an asterisk instead of star. Let's put an asterisk on that. Right? And you have the imperative. Right? I didn't teach you all of this yet. I'm letting you know where we're going with this so that you don't miss it. Then they have the gerund, or what I call, not what I call, but what I've been taught, the baklan. Remember when I talked to y'all about that, the bait, the kaf, the lamed, and the mem? There's different things in there. Bait, kaf, lamed, mem. Also it's called the gerund, depends on what book you're using. And we'll get into the baklan at a later date. But in particular, those are the tenses that you're dealing with. The past, the present, the future, the passive present, the imperative, imperative being a command, imperative. I'm not just telling, I am not saying that you're reigning. I'm not saying that you will reign. I am not saying that you have reigned. I'm commanding you to reign. You need to reign. You're a leader. Tell the people what to do. Give them guidance. Are you the man of your house? Then command your house to do that which is right. Not that he used this word, but the Most High God told Abraham, so spoke about Abraham, and he said, I know that he will command his house to do that which is right. That's when you're telling them you must do something. You see those idols that you have? Burn them. Saraf. Don't just bury it. Don't just throw it in the garbage. Burn it so that nobody else can use it ever again. Burn your offering. The Most High God consumed the offering. These are the different tenses that we'll speak in, and these are the different things that we'll do. So now we know that there's how many different stems? 7. And within that, we know that is the tenses, the past, the present, the future. Sometimes the passive present, which is also understood as the nifal. We'll get into that at a later date also. The passive present, even though it's found in the qual tense, sometimes it has its own tense of being passive when a verb is being passive. And we'll explain that at another time. I'll explain that another time. The imperative and the baklan. Okay? It's all about the pattern. Once you master the pattern, you got it. But you have to master the pattern. And honestly speaking, from my perspective, it's kind of like rhyming in your head. You know it's always going to sound a certain way. O, A, O, E, O, I, O, Im, O, Ot. Soref, Sorfa, Sorfim, Sorfot, Zoker, Zokeret, Zokra, Zokrim, Zokrot, Pogesh, Pogeshet, Pogsha, Pogshim, Pogshot, Cholein, Cholemet, Cholma, Cholmin, Cholmot. Are we getting here? Shober, Shoberet, Shobra, Shobrim, Shobrot. Stay in tune with it. Okay. So let's turn to Numbers chapter 20. Let's get a new screen up here. If you will, go with me. Go to this website to redirect me to another website to do what I do. We go to Torah readings. We go to Numbers. I believe the portion Korach covers this, so I missed it. I was close. Kukwat. When we get over there, let's go to Numbers chapter 20. Wait, we got one here yet. Probably should have just done the thing, right? All right, hold on. I want to put this stuff side by side. 20. All right. We want to do it like this. And we want to enlarge the font. Okay. 4 verses before we end out. Wayavo'u b'nei Yisrael kal ha'eda midbar sin b'chodesh harishon wayashev ha'am b'kwadesh watamat sham Miriam watikwaber sham. Okay. And the Israelites arrived, and the Israelites came. Bo. That word bo, that's a verb, means to come. In this instance, it's being used in the past tense, even though we see it in the future tense. Special type of reading here. And they came, B'nai Yisrael. You're used to that term. You see it hyphenated, B'nai Yisrael. Always one term, the children of Israel. Wayavo'u b'nei Yisrael. Kal ha'eda. Kal means all. Ha'eda. Vocabulary word. Ha'eda. The congregation. All the congregation. Ha'eda. Midbar sin. Midbar. Another vocabulary word, wilderness. Midbar means wilderness. Ada, ha'eda is the congregation. Midbar is wilderness. Sin. B'chodesh harishon. Chodesh being month, rishon being first. In the first month. B'chodesh harishon. Wayashev. And they dwelt. Yashav is to sit down or to dwell. Wayashev ha'am, the people dwelt, but Qadesh. Qadesh is a place here. Qadesh is the name of the place. Watamat, to die. Mat, mot. Watamat, Sham, and she died there. Miriam, you know Miriam, the sister of Aharon and Moses. Watibakwer Sham. And she was buried there. Welo haya mayim le'eda ayikwahalu al Moshe we al Aharon. Haya is to be, but in the past tense, was. Lo means no. We remember that from earlier. And there was no water. Mayim is water. Another vocabulary word if you don't have it. And there was no water. Le'eda. We just seen Ada right here, right? I just gave you that vocabulary word. Oops, I don't know what I did. Let's see if I can. Yeah. I just gave you Ada here. Sorry. Ada here was what? Congregation. We see it again used in the very next verse. For the congregation. And there was no water for the congregation. Wayikwahalu. What does kwahal mean? Kwahal. Congregation I used to attend. Kwahal. Kwahal means either congregation, but when you use it as a verb, kwahal as a noun is a congregation, but when you use it as a verb, it means to gather together. A congregation has gathered together, right? So when you use it as a verb, now you are gathering together. The people are gathering together. Wayikwahalu al Moshe. They gathered against Moshe with al Aharon and on Aharon. They're upset now. We don't got no water. And they gathered together against them. They ganged up on them. Wayarev ha'am im Moshe. Wayomru lemor. Welu gawanu. Bigwa achenu lifne Yahweh. Wayarev. Reeve. Reeve. That word reeve is strife. Reeve. Wayarev ha'am im Moshe. The people quarreled with Moshe. Your book may say the people strove with Moshe. Wayomru lemor. And they said, they spoke to him. Welu, if only. The blasphemous part of this all. Welu, if only. Giwanu, to perish. To perish, to destroy. Giwanu, if only we perished. Bigwa achenu, when our brothers perished. Lifnei Yahweh. They're sitting here saying it was better for us to die than to suffer not having water. If only we died the same way our brothers died when God killed them. You know these people done lost their mind, but that's who they were. And for our last verse, Welama havetem et kwahal Yahweh el hamidbar hazeh lamut sham anachnu uv irenu. Welama. Ma means what? Ma means what? The Hebrew word ma means what? So when you say lama, The lamed as a prefix means for. Lama, for what? Or why? For what? Or why? Lama havetem. There goes that word bo again being conjugated. Why did you all bring us? Bring the congregation. You see that word quahal again? Now they used it as a noun. Quahal is being used as a noun right now. Earlier we seen it being used as a verb. They gathered together against Moses then. Now it's being used as the congregation. Why did you bring the congregation of Yahweh to the wilderness? El Hamidbar. We see midbar again. That's our vocabulary word. El Hamidbar Hazeh. Into this wilderness. One term. El Hamidbar Hazeh. Why did you bring the congregation of Yahweh to this wilderness? Lamut Sham. For us to die there. Anaknu uv irenu. Us, anachnu. Remember that term? I told you us, we, anachnu. Us and our animals. They're questioning why they're in the wilderness. Why did you bring us here? Us and our animals. Okay. I think I've given you guys enough for today. My hour's about up. And so I hope and pray that you got something of what I said. I want you guys to practice conjugating the verbs. Remember, get the pattern down. I would hate to keep moving on and you didn't master what was there. So make sure you practice the verbs that I gave you. Just so you can see one more time the verbs that I gave you. We have Saraf, Pagash, Malak, Halam, Rachat, Rakav, Shabar, and Garash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 verbs we have. Okay? And from those, practice conjugating them. Remember, Soref, Sorfa, Sorfim, Sorfot. Sorefet, Soref, Sorefet, Sorfa, Sorfim, Sorfot. Practice conjugating them. Practice using it, because we will be getting into the past tense and the future tense shortly, and eventually into that Baklam or that Goresh. Remember, there's 7 tenses, 7 stems. The Qual, the Nifal, the PL, the Pu'al, the Hefil, the Hufal, and the Hipael. The Qual is your hardest tense to learn, is your hardest stem to learn. Once you learn the Qual, I guarantee you, you will be breezing through the other 6 stems. And you have to learn how to apply them. And also, the same 4 verses that we went through in Numbers 20, practice them as we go along. Learn the different things concerning how to properly read. Get your mind in tune with how Hebrew words sound, and you will become a better reader and speaker. Asking that God will continue to be with us as a people. I hope you all have a blessed night. As always, I invite you all down to our congregation, Congregation D.C.B, located at 382 Hamilton Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, in the Red Hook section. We are there every Shabbat from 10:30 a.m., first half ending at about 2 p.m., 2:30, and our second half now beginning at about 5:30, 6 o'clock until sundown. I know my brother asked you earlier, but once again, I ask that you all please donate. We need every dollar we can get. We have a building fund going on right now in our attempts to purchase a building. Please help us. Please pray for us. And I hope you all have a blessed night. Lala Tov. Chief, are you still there? Okay, so my brother Chief Uziel may have stepped away, and that's cool. Said we're ending Hebrew class, and we're gonna end this whole lesson. We ask that you all tune. Oh, there you go. I can't hear you. If you're talking, I can't hear anything, but I'm gonna mute my microphone. I still don't hear you saying anything. I see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you. I see you trying to say shalom, but I don't hear anything.
I have to shalom.
There you go.
You can hear me now? Trying to say shalom, but can you hear me now?
I got you now.
Shalom. All right, good. All right, that's good. All right, good thing you can hear me now. All right, so I plugged out the microphone and tried to use the computer built-in system. I was trying to cut in earlier, but you couldn't hear me. So I guess you because I have plugged out that that particular webcam. So I wanted to see, but because I wanted to read a verse. If you wanted me to read a verse.
Oh yeah, my fault. I missed it because I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, nah, that's my fault. So Torah, once again, Moreh, I thank you for all the hard work that you put in, and thank you for the effort that you put forward. It's not taken for granted, and I guess I'll see you again next week.
I'm in, bro. No problem. Lato.
Lato. Shalom, shalom. Blessed be Yah.